Alrighty, so here is another car out of my collection, one of the newest additions out of all the M's that I own. It is my Z4M Coupe. It is a 2008 Alpine White with an Imola red interior, so very, 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 very sought out color in regarding to this actual platform. Um, cool thing about this car, it has pretty much it's a E46 M3, which is actually definitely one of the best M cars. Everybody knows that my favorite is an E92 though. But it's definitely, it's a fun car. I mean, it's been in production from '06 till 2006 over to 2008. So definitely a very, very, very limited run car, and it's pretty insane as far as the money. I mean, the money that these cars are bringing in is kind of crazy. Before I wasn't really familiar with this generation or this model as far as where the market was. So when somebody came up to me, actually, a friend of mine from Instagram had actually told me that he is looking to sell the car. He gave me a really, really smoking deal. And I was like, huh. So I looked it up. I mean, these cars are selling for anywhere from 30s to even $40,000. Because one, the rarity, I mean, it's a beautiful looking car, and especially when you have an Alpine with red Imola, you really just can't ask for better, right? Now, the car didn't come perfect by any means. The headlights were very foggy, so what I did there is I really sanded it down with multiple grit sandpaper, and then I did actually a vapor, like ceramic technology, like a new canister, and they look absolutely amazing. And if you can see an image that I'll put so you can see the before and after. I wish I re-recorded it, but hey, I just started filming, so I actually am very happy the way that these headlights have came out, because if you, again, they were so bad and so yellow, and I did look to see how much the set were, just out of the question. Way too expensive. Way too expensive. Now, the reasoning why I got this car so cheap, it didn't look like this, okay? I didn't get the car as nice as it was. I mean, the front bumper was absolutely trashed. The story goes that the car was actually parked outside his front of his house, and while somebody was driving, they actually dinged and hit this side of the car. So on this fender, there was actually a dent in there, and then damage to the bumper. Funny enough, he took it to the body shop because he was going to start it to fix it, but they ended up starting to fix the wrong side, or sanding this side, which is why you'll see the picture above, why this side had it sanded, whereas this side it didn't. So I got it all taken care of, fixed, repaired. Here's the thing, I would have personally ordered a new bumper, but guess what? They don't make these bumpers. So BMW, a thing about this car is because they were so limited in production, they just overall stopped making and producing a lot of these parts. If it's Z4M Pacific, you're just not going to get it. I mean, if you do, people want, $15,000 to $2,000 just for the bumper. So I did take it to a guy down here in Miami, and I kind of told him what's up, if he can actually fix it, and he sure enough did, and he did a really good job. Now, the only complaints I do have is there is a gap in the headlight, as you can see. I know some Z4 owners say that's normal, but it can't be. So I do think when it was hit, the bumper bracket may have gotten messed up, and then like the actual bracket for the headlight, maybe it's a little like inward. That's why we're getting these like weird gaps as far as where the headlight goes. So I can't imagine it being as that. But anyways, we did go ahead, me, fixed the front bumper, got it resprayed. I got that quarter resprayed, and in this rear, we also had I had a little ding down here that I had taken care of. The rear bumper was also just like all scratched up and banged up, so I had that resprayed. I changed all the M badging, and that's the thing, like when you change, if you're gonna do this car and you're gonna restore an M car, get the M badges, like just get the M badges. So it's putting it together, right? So it's still not perfect. There's still things that I want to do, but I'm slowly finding out that there's just certain things that you're just not going to be able to get on this car that are just insanely expensive, that it's just not worth it. You know, maybe it can wait for a later time. You know, one thing is I like to change all the seals. So I'm thinking they just sell the seal. No, you have to buy the whole entire window display if you wanted to change that rubber. Now, one thing that did happen, granted, the owner said that he's never done or he doesn't have records of the rod bearings from prior ownership. So I said, you know what, that's fine. I'm getting the car cheap enough. I paid $14,000 for this car, okay? So you know what, I'm getting it cheap enough that besides the body need, you know, the work that the body needs, I'm just going to do the rod bearings. It's maintenance wise anyways, and I factor that expense. Now, what I didn't factor was that the Vanos unit was completely shot the heck. Now, I did tell myself, because again, he didn't have any records of the Vanos, I said, well, that's going to be done too, but you know, that can wait. No, he couldn't, because when they went in there for the rod bearings, I did tell him there was something going on where the car just wouldn't start randomly, and it was because the actual exhaust tab off the Vanos unit was broken off. So go figure. I also didn't realize how expensive Vano jobs are, and I got a good deal on the Vanos job. I paid $3,000 just to rebuild the actual Vanos unit and everything. That way it can make it really bulletproof, as they say. So between rod bearings and Vanos, I mean, you can imagine that's in itself pretty much $5,000 right there. The body work I got a really good deal for as well. The guy really helped me out. He does amazing work, and he only charged me about $2,000 to put everything together and fix it. Again, I still got to fix that issue, but I'm living with it for now. Now, interior wise, beautiful. I mean, you really can't get better than white on red. You know, red interior, white exterior. Now, the interior wasn't bad, I would say, but it wasn't good. It was very, very dirty, just from sitting usage, a little bit of oil from the skin, you know, people sitting in it. This bolster was actually ripped. You can kind of see it here. I kind of did a temporary job where they kind of filled it in, because it was an actual tear. So they filled it in, and then they dyed this bolster. So I'm okay with it for now. I think it looks good for what I like, and nobody's really going to tell. It's just now that I told you, you probably will. Also, the steering wheel, this was pretty oily as well, so I conditioned, cleaned it, and took care of that. And then these actual plastics were all scratched up, and what I did there, the same guy who actually dyed the interior had actually taken care of the actual bits and plastic pieces for that. Also, another thing that is a you must do is the actual shift knob. I did change it to a actual I think it's a ZCP. It's a weighted shift knob, as that one was completely disgusting and destroyed. One good thing that I was pleasantly surprised to see, that I actually had no idea, is that the prior owner did the headliner in Alcantara. Very nice upgrade. So that was actually a pretty nice thing that I did not expect, that I did see, and definitely love it. Now, what's to come for this car, right? Because the car is pretty nice as it is. I still got to do a couple different things on it. The prior owner actually had changed the flywheel and the clutch to a light flywheel, and it makes a lot of noise. I know it's better for the track, but this car is not really going on the track, and I can't stand it. It honestly is, especially when you start the car and you're going the lower RPMs. It's just very, very annoying. So I'm gonna get addressed that, although that's not very cheap at all, so I'm gonna hold off on it. The brakes and rotors could be replaced and fixed, so that's also probably my biggest priority now, just to get the car running, you know, obviously great and safe, and that I'm not gonna mess anything up or, you know, completely smash into a wall because I don't have brakes, right? So they're not terrible. They do need to be done, but I can hold off for a little bit. As far as mods, right? So the car is stock. I mean, it's completely bone stock. I do anticipate putting coilovers, So obviously lowering the car and making the stance better. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I think I'm just going to do KWs, maybe V2s. I just the same as my E46. So that's also in stock, in store for this car. Got to do an exhaust, right? It's just too quiet. It's just way too quiet. Just like if anybody has ever driven an E46 M3 stock, it just sounds like a 3 Series. And this is what the car sounds like, actually. It sounds like a 3 Series with an annoying light flywheel, right? So not the most enjoyable at the moment. So that is something that I definitely want to do. It's an exhaust system. Again, coilovers would be a definite must as well. And then from there, upgrade the wheels. I don't know what wheels I'm going to do. Obviously, we all love the the BBS E88s or LMs. But when you're building a bunch of M cars, it gets expensive, right? Like to put BBS wheels on every single one of your cars when you own 5 or 6 cars, you do the math, they're not cheap, right? So maybe one day I'll do it. But for right now, let's just get it right. Let's drive it, enjoy it, and then just get the little bits and pieces that I want to get done. So, yeah.